I just finished playing Resident Evil 9 Requiem, and all of the glaze in the world that this game is given, I don't feel like it's enough. I played this game yesterday. I played this game over this entire weekend, and I had an absolute blast. For Capcom to build up all of this hype on this game and actually find a way to supersede that, to me, is amazing. Yesterday I did it. I did a little bit of a review after the stream, and I felt like it was a little bit too spoilery at the beginning. So what I want to do here is that in the beginning is going to be more of a non-spoilery review. Then we'll talk spoilers later on, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody else in case you do want to play. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. 32-Bit Gamer Gang is a new channel that we have, and we're trying to grow it little by little. We're doing a whole bunch of Resident Evil playthroughs as well as other games, so make sure you guys join us on there. Join the gang. So the main point of Resident Evil 9 is that there's two protagonists. One of them is Grace Ashcroft, who is an FBI agent and is investigating these strange murders. A couple of years ago, her mom was actually killed. Her mom is actually Alyssa Ashcroft, who you could actually know from previous Resident Evil games if you did play them. But anyway, Grace is investigating some of these murders. Leon is the other protagonist, and he's, of course, you guys know Leon. He is a beast when it comes to Resident Evil. He has been in here in the lore since the beginning, since 1998, when Resident Evil 2 came out. And his part of his story is more about returning to where he felt like he failed and finding a way to redeem himself. Even though I don't understand how he failed. There's a million zombies around. I don't think it's any of your fault, but he blames himself. The whole point of this is that Grace is trying to figure out and uncover and peel back the onion, if you will, of Resident Evil and finding out why all of this is happening and how we can be able to solve it. Turns out that she ends up meeting a person named Victor Gideon, who is a scientist that actually takes Spencer's research and is kind of converting it into his own and trying to get something called Elpis. I won't spoil what Elpis is yet. I mean, we'll wait until later on in case we do talk about it. But he captures her and then takes her to this place. And this is where the game begins. It begins in this infirmary or laboratory place, area, house, building that they end up doing a whole bunch of experiments on a lot of different people. And that's where we start. Now, this game does a great job at blending two different points of views and giving you what I call the best of both worlds. I think that this is a culmination of all of the Resident Evil games because it gives you classic horror and survival horror. Let's not forget, Resident Evil was the originators of the genre survival horror. So I feel like this game is more of a celebration of all of the games to this point because it takes Resident Evil 4 when you're playing with Leon and it marries it to other things that Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 since you're inside of this building and everything feels claustrophobic to you and there's other things around and people chasing you like how they are in Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Combines a lot of the action elements from what Resident Evil 6 was supposed to be, even though that game is so hated because of the way that they executed it, I guess you could say, executed the game. In lack of better words, they definitely executed the game. And then they have the new version of what revived Resident Evil as a franchise, Resident Evil 7 or Resident Evil 8 elements. They have everything in one, man, and it's not anything else you could be able to ask for. I really love this game as a lifelong Resident Evil fan ever since Resident Evil 1. This game to me is classic survival horror, bro. Like it felt like I said, like you're walking down corridors, you don't know what's going on, especially when you're with Grace. And the way that Capcom explained it is that they wanted you to play Grace in first person and to play Leon in third person. And I experienced it exactly how they wanted us to. And they did a very good job at making you feel very into the game. I felt so invested in everything going on. I was so into it, I felt like I was Grace. What the fuck is going on?
Give me a fucking break.
Bro, Grace, I'm on your side here, bro. This shit is crazy.
Oh, fuck.
She's saying the same shit I am, bruh. Some of the other good things that they did in this is that the story was great. They did a great explanation. Even they expanded on a lot of lore of past Resident Evil games. They also hit on a lot of nostalgia, but did not feel like they were trying to like force feed you the nostalgia either. It wasn't like, oh, they're just gonna get some of these other people just to come in and all of that stuff. There were people that were put out there. There were Easter eggs. I thought that everything was put in the right spot, whether it was for Leon, where you guys seen it in the trailer, so this is not a spoiler, where he revisited the RPD. There was also mention to things in the first couple of games that happened here and characters from before. And even when you're in RPD and you're reading some of the letters from back then when you read in Resident Evil 2 remake, and it's just like, damn, we're revisiting all of this stuff, and it hits you in the nostalgia in the right way, man. It really does. It's just a good job. Couldn't live with your own failures. So where does that bring you? Back to me. It's the RPD. It is the RPD. Leon, this is where it all started for you and Claire. The graphics and the atmosphere looks great. I think that this is one of Capcom's best looking games all around. I haven't played it on PlayStation yet, but I heard that on PlayStation it looks amazing, especially if you have the PlayStation Pro, because they actually have the PSSR 2 that actually came out for it, where they enhanced it and enhanced the graphics to make it look even better. It's basically their version of DLSS. But I played this game on PC. The game played great. It held great in all spots. I didn't have any real frame drops. I mean, my computer's brand new, and you know, I built it and all of that stuff, so I haven't had any issues with it. It felt like this game, Capcom took it so serious, like to the heart. Like they really wanted to make sure that they made this a banger, bro. It felt that way with everything that they put into it, whether it's the music, whether it's what fans love about the series, whether it's, you know, certain lore or expanding on it, whether it's giving characters certain stuff that's not out of character, and just being true to Resident Evil and what makes that series that. To me, I feel a certain way about Resident Evil, bro, because I remember playing it when it first came out in '96, and then to play that game and see what that was. I'm revisiting it now and seeing how that series was. We've come such a long way, and you could tell that they were just trying things out then.
Oh, Barry!
Thank
Well,
God.
it was too close.
Damn, Jerry got
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry, thanks for saving my life.
And they carved out a whole genre for themselves, man. And it's been great. It's been a series to fall in love with. It's been a series that I've been so happy with. And then to see this game, I'm so impressed that they're able to do this 30 years later. This time in March 1996 is when 30 years ago is when Resident Evil first came out. So to be able to see this come out and do this here, and it makes me really encouraged for what they're doing in the future. I don't know how else they could have done better with this game. There are actually, you know what? There's a little bit of things, which I'll tell you. They're more of nitpick more than anything else, but I absolutely loved this game. It was great. I thought that my biggest fear was that I wasn't gonna get enough time with certain characters. Like I was gonna get two protagonists at the same time. So I was afraid that I was gonna get either too much Grace and not enough Leon, or that I was gonna get too much Leon and not enough Grace. At first, in the first part of the game, it low-key felt like I was gonna get too much Grace and not enough Leon. And then the game just kind of flips on itself. And then you get the whole Leon portion of that. And I'll cover more of that in the spoiler section. But yo, I felt like when you get the Grace sections, you're in there, and then you get Leon and you're just having fun blasting zombies. And Leon feels like a freaking superhero. The other side of it is that you're leaving a high intense, high anxiety person that we could actually feel like we're in their point of view with Grace. And shout out to their voice actor, bro. What was her name? I wanted to Angela Albano. I got to give her some love. She was absolutely amazing when it comes to Grace. Like the voice acting, I felt every emotion Grace felt. Whether it's the heavy breathing, whether it's how everything was great, man. I hope that at the Game Awards she wins something because she was amazing. Oh my god, this is some good ass voice acting. Going back to what I was saying about getting enough time with every player, it feels even. It feels like you got even time. Now, what I thought that they could have done better is I thought that the shooting could be a little bit better. It felt a bit janky throughout the whole game. I don't know if there was some sort of setting I was supposed to change or not, but I didn't change anything. And it did feel a bit jank, with the controls with that. Leon, the second part of the game with Leon, when it opens up, if you ever played RE4, there is a upgrade person that you can go to, a shop, if you will, where you can go there and you can upgrade your weapons, you can buy new weapons. It is the Stranger, right? Now, this time you're not getting a Stranger, right? Would have been cool if they would have brought him in or brought somebody of the same ilk or whatever it is that's greeting you every single time you go in to try to do your weapon transactions. But you go in there and for every zombie that you kill, you now get what is equivalent to pesetas in Resident Evil 4. So every time you kill a zombie, you could get, they drop something and you can get pesetas.
What are they doing
it's basically the currency of the game that you can use to buy things. So in this game, there is something where each zombie you kill, it now gives you money for it so that way you could use your upgrade. So it incentivizes you wanting to go around and just blow every zombie out of the water, and you get a chance to really play with the guns and because you remember you didn't have that with the gray section, or you don't really get that with the gray section. So you're getting that with the Leon section. And I just wish we had more zombies to kill. I know that sometimes you can get hordes in RE4, but that would have been nice to be able to get something like that or more of that. But each time it felt like, damn, I kind of want a little more zombies to kill. I felt myself looking around for more zombies to kill to either upgrade guns or to get certain places or whatever. My first playthrough, I took my time and I really looked around the whole map. I didn't want to miss anything. Even still, I missed some stuff. I missed 2 of the little raccoon dudes. It felt like I wanted to take my time. It was about 14 hours in the playthrough. So, and that's me taking my time. So the game could be a little short, but I didn't feel shortchanged in any way. Now, I'll cover this more in the spoilers, but I thought that the boss fights and the final boss fight in particular were at best. It was nothing. There's one particular boss fight where I felt a little disappointed that it was as easy as it was. Well, 2 of them that felt that way, and one boss fight that didn't happen that I felt like, oh man, we kind of missed the mark there by not having something go on with that particular potential boss, not doing that. We should have done that. Other than that, man, and one other little thing that I'll cover in the spoiler section when it comes to Grace that I wish we would have gotten, and that's more of a nitpick than anything else. Other than that, it was just that's really it. I'm not even really nitpicking too much, man. Like I said, the first person for Grace, I thought it really immerses you in the game. It feels really slow sometimes though, even when you're running, hey, I have somebody chasing me. I got zombies chasing me. I got this giant girl doll person chasing me down these corridors. I need you to hurry up a little bit, all right? So, and it looks like she's moving in quicksand almost. It feels like she's moving so slow. Sometimes she's walking and she's tripping all over herself, and that's really realistic. But you can see her growth as a character as you go along though, where I don't know, as you're getting upgrades, or it feels like she's getting used to the scenes and all of that stuff. I went from in the beginning being a little annoyed with her and how anxious she is and her anxiety, and to really resonating with her, I would feel the same way if I'm in this situation, to I'm rooting for you, Grace. Come on, Grace, you could do it. That kind of thing. I felt myself rooting for that, right? So I was okay. And when it started, I had the Grace sections, and then I'm I got the Leon, and then I got back to Grace, and then it would feel damn, I want to get back to Leon. Later on, it kind of flipped for me, it's amazing that they were able to do that for me, because I love Leon S. Kennedy, right? They were able to flip that where I had the Leon sections, and then we would go to Grace, and then something story-wise is happening, and then they go back to Leon, and I'm let's go back to Grace. So I thought that they did that really well. I like that, because that means I was really invested in the story and invested in the characters. And at the end, I really ended up loving Grace. I was afraid that I wasn't gonna like her, because I felt, just from what I seen in the trailers, I'm man, I'm not gonna really like this character too much. I love Leon. I know I love Leon because I've had Leon since RE2. And I had him in RE4, which is like the best, one of my top 5 games of all time. RE4 is, right? OG RE4. But she had growth as a character after everything switched, and then Leon ended up having the part and it ended up being him. It felt like she kind of stopped her growth as a character, which it was sad to see, because I felt like she was really progressing to a place where it felt like, okay, she's gonna become like a badass kind of thing. Like, you know, she's starting to get used to this environment. When you do get into Leon's perspective, though, it does feel like RE4. It feels like that entire element. It feels like he's in total control of everything, just in the way that he holds his gun.
Oh my God.
Where the opposite for Grace. Grace's hands are shaking. They did a good job with that. Grace's hands are shaking. She's breathing hard. Leon is in the middle of battle, in the middle of like duress and all of that. He is calm as cool as a cucumber, man. Leon is such a Chad, man. He is such a Chad, bro. Just some of these quotes that he comes up with that I just think about is like, bro, who else comes up with that shit but Leon S. Kennedy, bro?
You can begin your treatment. A silent treatment, I hope.
The silent ah. Leon, you always been a funny one, my boy.
You know, I do have a question.
Does his breath stink?
When's the last time you brushed your teeth?
Bro, who else saying shit like that, bro? It's just, he just does that stuff. You know what I mean? And it's the corny lines or whatever, but it comes off as like a charm. Like Leon's always been that way, and they stay true to that. So I love that because that brought like good levity to situations. And I never felt like I was scared when I was with Leon. I felt terrified when I was with Grace. Oh, shit! What the fuck? God damn it! And for me, I wanted to give this game is not perfect just because of the little things, and they might add things later on and fix things, and I heard that they might even add like a mercenaries mode, or they may add like a DLC with other stuff, and they may do like other things like they always do. For me, this game was solid, man. I give this game a 9.5. It's definitely one of my top 5 Resident Evil games of all time. Resident Evil 4, the OG, is definitely number 1 for me, but this is not that far off, man. Resident Evil 2 is in there too. We're still working through the games because the point of us playing all of the Resident Evil games on the 32-Bit Gamer Gang channel is so that we can be able to then tier list all of the games. So I don't want to I just know in my top 5, this game is in there for sure. RE4 is in there. RE2 is in there. And RE7. RE7 is in there as well for me. If you've never played a Resident Evil game before and you're looking to get into the series, you don't know where to get into, you could play some of the other games. All of the games are on sale right now, so you could be able to do that. This is not an ad. But you guys could be able to do that if you wanted to. If not, then you can always watch like a video and get yourself caught up to the story. The game itself does a great job at explaining what's going on. Even if you don't have the history behind it, they give you the history so that you learn about what's happening, what's going on with the nostalgia, with things that you read, you're able to get and put things together. Now, things hit even harder for you, as they did for me and other Resident Evil fans, when you play all of the games. So that's what. But for me, for a 30-year-old series, for a series that could churn out games and be able to just sell them as nothing, to see them be able to reinvent themselves and create this new way of possibly making games in the future where they can give you the survival horror element and give you survival action element, that is to me awesome that they were able to do that. It's great. I'm really happy with what Capcom did. And now we're gonna go ahead and start some of the spoiler section. We'll talk about that. All right, let's go. All right, when it comes to spoilers, when I beat the game and I got the good ending. Now, I chose to get the Elpis drug, right? Like, I chose to save the Elpis drug, and she ended up putting in hope into the system, and that ended up releasing what was the cure to now this T virus, which gets you to think, man, like if Spencer created this and this was a way for Spencer to redeem himself, if anything, at least that's what Grace was saying and thinking, and that's what Spencer was saying in the video with Alyssa, it felt like if we're gonna get this, does that mean that there's no more zombies anymore going forward, or what's gonna happen with that, right? Because then you're able to cure some of the already existing zombies. The one thing that they did in this game that knocked it completely out of the ballpark was giving the zombies some sort of personality. Now, these are the zombies that were in the particular mansion, the first mansion, the infirmary, or whatever that the place was where Dr. Gideon's lab and his office and everything was. Those zombies were a little different. They were dead, but they were undead, but they still retained a part of the personality from their past life. And whoever in Capcom thought of that is so like RE coded that I felt like you guys need a raise, bro. Whoever suggested that needs an absolute raise. It makes you think, is there still a sliver of their humanity left in there? You know? And if it is, and they saved the little girl, Emily, after she turned. So it makes you think like, yo, the sliver of the humanity is in these people. And even when Leon got back to the police station and he killed an officer that was still roaming around, and he said, "Rest easy, officer," it felt like, yo, how long was that guy roaming around? And is he conscious in his head somehow, some way, but just lost, you know, in like a dream or a haze? Like, that's what I was thinking about because they gave these zombies a little bit of personality. Never before have they ever given that. They're just mindless zombies that just want to eat brains and stuff like that. So, but now I started to think about that, especially with the Elpis drug that could bring these people back. They had zombies in there that were like this big baby that was just eating. They had a zombie that was in there that was, I'm guessing, a cook that had a butcher knife, and he was just stuck in the loop of his work, which was cutting up meat and cooking. The other people were like cleaning the floors. Another person was singing. And that one was, I think, my favorite zombie, the singer zombie, because she wouldn't like outright attack you. She would just sing and follow you around and sing. That one wasn't as aggressive, but she loved to sing. And that was part of her personality. There's this big girl that is chasing you throughout the game. She's more of a chaser, kind of like how Mr. X was throughout the entire series, right? And she's chasing you. And my biggest problem with this game was how they handled boss fights. I didn't particularly like how they handled boss fights. I thought that first of all, the game that handled boss fights the best is RE4, but the boss fights in this game felt like really straightforward. It wasn't like, it didn't feel challenging in any way. It felt like, okay, we're just gonna do this 1, 2, 3, rinse and repeat. 1, 2, 3, rinse and repeat. You know, like this girl that was basically, after I put two and two together, this person that used to be basically is like Emily, or like her twin or something like that, because she took her but didn't hurt her. So I thought that was Emily, and come to find out that they were cloning Emily's, or cloning Grace's, actually. In the orphanage, they were kind of cloning the kids there, which we got to see way back in RE2 when you're playing the Claire story and you're trying to rescue the girl, and she's kind of there and you're reading all of these stories, these fucked up stories about what they did to kids and all of that stuff there. So you revisit that place. The way we kind of got rid of her was kind of easy, just like, oh, we just turn on the light basically, and she died. I know she's allergic to light, but it's like there was no boss fight.
Come on, open.
Finally, bro. Do I get a trophy? Mr. X was another big reveal, right? Like, this is Mr. X from RE2, the chaser of all chasers.
Wait.
Basically, like how they did in Resident Evil 3 with Nemesis. This guy was chasing you all around the precinct and just causing hell for you. I thought we killed him. I guess not. So he comes back in this because the Wesker, which we'll talk about him in a bit, we then fight Mr. X, and Mr. X's boss fight. At first, it started badass because he's throwing literal missiles at you. And then after that, it just kind of tails off where it's like, he'll try to attack you, you can easily parry, and you can then shoot him because he just stays still and says, basically, shoot me in the chest. And there's something in the chest that's like moving, basically telling you that's his weak point. And it's like, yo, just shoot me here. And he'll stay there and just chill for you to do it. That part of it was like, could have did better there. Every boss fight felt that way. And then the final boss, you know, you're fighting Gideon, and Gideon was, I thought one cool boss fight though, and this is like a mini boss fight, when Leon was on the motorcycle, which was fucking awesome. That motorcycle scene was awesome. And it felt like RE6. When Leon was on the motorcycle and you're fighting Gideon there and shooting him, I thought that was cool. I like that. Now, when you're fighting Gideon as the final boss, Gideon, then, you know, you shoot him. I thought that his first form was okay, but then it became really repetitive. But then his second and final form was very lackluster. It was like you shoot the obvious bubbles, they blow up extremely easily, and then he kind of faints on the floor, and these other bubbles come out, and you shoot those, and that's it. And just rinse and repeat that 3 times. It was like, come on, guys, we gotta do a little bit better than that. Where I felt like they missed the mark was not having some sort of boss fight with Wesker, aka Zeno, which is an obvious Wesker clone. Wesker, I'm glad that they found a way to involve him in this in one way, shape, or form. But the fact that we didn't even fight him is like, come on, guys. We gotta give him, you know, we gotta do something with that. Like, you gotta do something, even if you don't win the boss fight and it's like a movie scene and you survive long enough so that it's good. It's like, okay, you know, you gotta be able to do that. The other thing is that it would have been nice because you went back and forth, right? In the first part, it was Grace that was terrified, Leon's the badass, and all of that stuff. You then reverse the roles, and it's mainline story focus with Leon and all of the action, and with just drips of Grace, and kind of like I mentioned that her growth kind of stopped a little bit because I thought that she was on her way to becoming like a badass, and they kind of stopped that. It would have been cool because the sickness was taking over Leon. It would have been cool if they had it hinder you to the point where now she has to be the one to save you. And then she comes out and she's now, all right, I'm gonna take the shotty, I'm gonna take the machine, I'm gonna start using some of this shit, you know what I mean? And then just have that. Like, that would have been cool to be able to see that a little bit if they were able to do that. They didn't. It's fine, but I just thought it would have been cool to see her kind of complete her arc. Like, yo, I'm a total fucking badass now for Grace. I would have been rooting for her since I already found myself rooting for her the whole time because I felt like she was in our perspective, our POV. Or maybe they should have given her something in that final boss fight to do that would have helped Leon, like a tandem thing that they could have done. I don't know. The final boss fight and the handling of all that was kind of weird and lackluster. The other thing is that after the game, Leon took off his glove and put on a ring, and then you look in the concept art, and guess what? Leon S. Kennedy is married. Now, to who? I want you guys to speculate who you guys think he's married to. Could it be Ada? We didn't see Ada here. We did see a couple of Easter eggs with Ada. Now, because of where the game left off as, now, Chris Redfield came in. He didn't even come in. He just sent his people. And he was like, yo, go rescue Leon. And Leon's like, yo, where the hell is Chris Redfield at? And he's not even there. What is the next game going to be? Because it feels like they set up for something else, right? Just because of the end credit scene and how all of that happened. What do I think should happen? Now, I think that the next game that they're going to do is that they're probably going to remake Resident Evil Code Veronica, as per like a lot of rumors. They're going to remake Resident Evil 0 as well. I would like to see, and we haven't seen this in the series in such a long time. We got a lot of Chris. We've gotten a lot of Leon now. It's time. Bring back Jill Valentine. Bring back Claire Redfield. Give me those two stories from two badass females, and I'll be excited for that for sure. And maybe even at least mention Sheva one time. I don't know, maybe by mistake, but she has not been mentioned since Resident Evil 5. I don't know, has she been retconned? Where is she? I would like to see some more of her. That's what I would like to see going forward. But all in all, I love this game, guys. If you guys love this, man, this is my long review. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll try to do reviews like this for games that I play, new games that I play, and just kind of speak on. And follow me on Joe's McFly on all social media, and subscribe to 32-Bit Gamer Gang on YouTube as well, man. And I will see you guys later, all right? Peace.